No. He didn't have to do it, but he did. Didn't have to do it, but he did. Welcome back. Welcome back to Raw. Restoring Awesome Warriors. I'm your host, Jackie H. I'm here for another Sunday evening. Had to come in. Dad used to call us in. We got to expound on what we got out of the word today, the sermon today, what we got out of church service today. That's what he used to do with me. I used to hate those moments because the only thing I wanted to do is get out of church and go play with my friends and do what we had to do, because soon, especially if it was school days, we had to get back to bed around about 8:30, 9 o'clock, start preparing for bed. So calling us in at 7:30 and want to know what we got out of church after we done been there for 4 hours. Okay, well, I've changed. Now this is a joy. It's a pleasure to come back home and go over, what did you learn? What did you get out of it? What's going to carry me on for the rest of the week? And the more that I pour in and get out of it, is more that can help me. So I'm looking at it different today. Sometimes you have to mature and grow up. When you was a child, you thought as a child. When you get older, you got to put away those childish things and stop thinking childish, okay? And we all get there. So I want to give the scripture where he came from today was 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, and he gave verse 15 through 17. And I'm going to read that. They say, and when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elijah. And if anybody have ever read this story, he started back up in the 8th verse, giving the background to the story that Israel was being warred against with Syria. It went, and it's like everything that the king was setting up to do, God was letting Israel know. To the king of Syria was thinking that somebody in his camp was betraying him, because everything that he was trying to do, Elisha was sent back and tell him what he was doing. Because even in his bedchamber, God was telling Israel, because he was fighting for them. And what I got out of this he said, open up his servant eyes, because only thing he saw was what was before him. So there was a lot of horses out there. There was a lot of chariots, and the enemy had surrounded the city. They had come for them, come for Elijah, because they was after him, because everything they was trying to do, the Lord was telling Elijah, but the king sent for him. And the servant saw it first. He saw what the king had sent. So when he went fearing, fear had took him over because of what he saw. And Elijah was calming him down and saying, look, man, God is with us. Who we have on our side is more than that. And he was asking God for him, open his eyes that he can see that you got us. So, my mind gonna go to natural stories, gonna go to different things that we go through in life. Sickness, you might not have enough to make it, your job don't pay enough, things coming up against your family, everything's just in array. And you don't see how you're going to make it. You don't see a way out, right? And sometimes we forget when fear take over that we're serving a great God, and greater is he that is in us. But at those moments when fear grip us, when fear grip you, like you don't have enough money this month for rent. Your job just folded up. You got a bad report from the doctor. It ain't that report that you might just need some glasses. This report is that, your liver is gone. Your kidney is failing. You look like you got a spot on your breast. It's cancer coming. I'm talking about the hard thing. And sometimes these ain't easy. These are not easy things to just like, oh, well, that's just another day in the neighborhood. No, sometimes even in knowing God, even in believing, these things can turn your whole life upside down. And this what was going on in this chapter. Like, we standing up here, we don't have nothing. Like, I don't even know if they had one horse. But they say the mountain was full of horses. There's a whole army standing here, got us surrounded. And the man of God said, don't fear. Don't even fear. That report that you got last week, that report that rent man said, and I'm not saying that things don't shake us, but God has someone that you can turn to. Sometimes you don't know where your blessing's coming from. Sometimes just speaking to someone about what's going on, they might be the one who can hand you your rent. They might be the one who can take you through what you're going through at the time. But we already done panic. The devil, Satan, like to see us with fear. Sometimes God got the answer already on the other side, waiting on the side. And the devil talking in his ear, Satan talking in his ear, and God said, look, I got angels all around you, camped all around you. Only thing you got to do is believe. Right? So sometimes he already has the strategy. Sometimes he already have our answers. Sometimes things just look like it intensified because we heard the word. You look out there and you see a whole mountain full of horses and animals and swords and guns and knives and everything coming against you. You'll be unhuman to not feel. But he don't want our emotions to take over, that we forget who he is. That's what I got out the word today. Yeah, your problem could be this big, but God is bigger, right? And sometimes in that moment, you might not feel it. So I'm reminded of a story in the Bible was about this man was sick on his bed, and he was too frail, whatever that was. He wasn't able. Jesus was in the house preaching, and it was crowded. And his friends took him up on top of the roof, on top of the house, knocked a hole in that roof. I can imagine what they was doing. We got to get him to Jesus. Sometimes you got to surround yourself with people. Watch the company that you keep. Sometimes people will put fear in you. You need someone that is standing strong. He reminded us today of a soldier. You ever have a soldier mentality? You out there in war, you're on the battlefield, and they had the foxhole. You get down in the ditch and you hide, and you got rockets going over you, people shooting over you, but you down in this hole, call it foxhole, and you're covered for a moment. You're in safety, and you jump up out of the foxhole and just go running around because you're scared. Fear take you from your comfort zone, and here you go. Like you was already in the arms of safety. You was already in the foxhole. Why you out there in the middle of the field right now running around? Like stay in the foxhole. Stay there. God got you covered. Sometimes you don't see it, but you can hear. You can hear those rockets. You can hear the things going over here, but stay low. You have to have a soldier mentality. I remember me and my sisters was working at this store. Anybody know anything about Kensington area in Philadelphia? It's bad. It's bad. It's one of them places you don't want to be. And my sister was working at the time. She was doing cell phones and beepers and stuff, and we was working under this bridge, the L, and we had this store that we was working in this neighborhood, right? So the guy that was, I don't know if he was my sister boss, so they was working together. She left and went to get lunch and left me and my sister Darlene there at the store to cover the store on lunch period in this neighborhood, right? I'm talking about a soldier mentality. So this guy came in and stood in the doorway. He crossed the door like you couldn't get out the door or in the door. And he had his sword, he had his boom boom pointing at the manager because he promised him to have his beeper yesterday. And he come there to get it today and he still ain't had it ready. And he said, man, you think you playing with me, guy? He had, so me and my sister, I pulled her down behind the counter, the cashier. We was working the cashier and bringing up the people order. When he came in, there was no more selling for me. We hiding. We in the foxhole. I pulled her down. Well, the guy didn't even see us, y'all. Didn't even see me and my sister. His focus was on that guy who told him and made him that promise about his merchandise. What did my sister do? She jumps up in the middle of him talking to the guy. We was already hid. She jumped up and tell the guy, I gotta go home. I got kids. I ain't had nothing to do with it. I snatched half of her dress off and pulled her back down on the floor behind the counter. The guy was not even worried about us. He didn't even know we was back there. He wasn't thinking about it. But that fear had gripped her that she stood up in the midst while we was already covered. I had her covered. Only thing she had to do, let him handle that. And when they got finished, I'm pretty sure if he would have ran, got his stuff, whatever he's going to do, never knew. But this is what I got out of what that young man saw. He saw so much that he, like, how we going to fight this? So you got to remember, no matter what is happening, when you have God on your side, you got to trust that. And sometimes it don't look like it's, how's God going to take care of that? This is a lot. And sometimes we forget who God is, right? So if you're thinking in your carnal mind, certain things come upon you real fast and cause you to panic. You forget that God is almighty. You forget how big he is. So if we stay in the spirit, stay in our word, stay prayed up, even in peacetime, stay before God, that when some of these things come, it didn't say it wouldn't come. Things is going to happen. We live in a natural world. We living on earth. We are having the earthly experience, but we know that we're serving a God that rules the earth and heaven, right? So my thought, Dad, was when everything intensified, count on what you know. And sometimes you have things that you already know God brought you through before. You already know that something happened probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, and God brought you through that. The devil, the enemy knows our weakness. He knows our strength. He knows what make us tick. And that's where he's going to zero in on. I'm going to make this thing that is your weakness, that's where I'm going to attack you at. I'm going right in there. So since you don't like to be sick, this causes fear. So I'll get you here. Some people is their children. Some people is their husband or wives. So some people is their job security. The devil zeroes it. He studies your weakness. He knows where to get you at. So he'll cause havoc. Look at that. Look what's going on. They about to lay off 3,700 people. You probably gonna be one of them. Who you trusting? You trusting the job, or you trusting at that moment you forget? And God done brought you through so many things, but at this moment you're having a panic attack, and that's how he get us. He get us to focus, zero in on what's going on right now. You could be having a perfect day, he said, and one bad piece of information just send you over the top. You was okay. He didn't call you with something that's not going to bother you. He called you with something that he knew that would affect you. But you got to remember, God can intercept all the enemy plans. He would let you know. He listen in. If God is for you, if God is for you, he'll tell you. He'll tell you what's going on in secrets. Behind them closed doors, how you gonna tell you, Jack? He might send someone just to tell you something, and you're like, oh, that's what they were saying. They don't even know what they're saying, but you know your answer. Thank you, God. Thank you for letting me know what's about to happen. And they say the best strategy, whatever the best strategy is to get you, is no match for God. You are never outnumbered as long as God is on your side. That was the word today, Daddy. I'm never outnumbered. If I stay in God, let God abide in me, and He will take care of you. No, it's not easy. I'm not sitting here telling you that it's easy. I'm pretty sure when that young man looked out there and saw all that out there, and knowing it was just him and Elijah, and you telling me, be calm, God got us, even if your faith can be on shaky ground sometimes. It can really, like, you know, but it's like, man, God, this is a big one. And I'm learning, be honest with God. God, I know you got me, but right now I'm a little fearful. Can you help me? Help my unbelief. Help this fear. Calm me down. Be with me. Send somebody. Sometimes you got to get in your words. Sometimes you got to get around people who is strong. Whatever that is to take you to get your nerves back up. That fear don't take over. That you start doubting who God is. He's more than the world against you. I don't care what we're going through. I don't care what it looks like. God is more. Even when the enemy try to make you think that he's not nowhere around, we still got angels camped all around us. You might not see them, but you can feel it if you in tune and you in the spirit of God. He'll let you feel peace in the midst. You ever see sometimes things be going on and you wonder why you're so calm? You know who's on board. You know who's on board. God will reveal everything that's going on. But you got to be in Him. Stay in Him. Trust Him. And then at the end, he read from the 8th chapter all the way down to the 23rd verse. 8th verse down to the 23rd verse in that same chapter of 2 Kings, 6th chapter, right? And at the end, Elijah was able to lead. He asked God to blind his enemy. You have a stance with God. When you in God, God will fight for you. If you're in the right and you know who you are in God, you can call on your God to take care of the problem. He caused blindness to come upon that army. He led that army that was coming to fight him. He led them into the enemy territory. When they woke up, when their eyes came open, they were standing in the midst of their enemies. What a God. What a God we serve that would turn that thing around for you. They told you that you was about to lose your job. God can turn that thing around and give you a better one, and you'll be hired before that job even closed. I'm seeing it done. I've seen it done, y'all. I've seen it done. They gave you a bad report today and got you all in fear, and you go back and they can't find nothing. I've seen it done. I'm not talking about something I read. I've seen it done. He'll turn that same thing back on the enemy. Pull yourself together. Act like you know it. Fast. Pray. Whatever that is, while it's peace, I keep saying peacetime because I learned that really in the military. I never been to war. I was in the military, but I never been to war. But we was practicing. We was constantly preparing. We was constantly standing up on our toes, standing because you just never know when the enemy gonna come upon you. Now I'm pretty sure some of these people that do go to war, they probably in fear, they probably panic, but somewhere or another, your training kicks in. If you don't have no training and you're not standing your word or you're not preparing for anything, you have a right to fear. You have a right to panic. I don't know what you're gonna muster up on. But when you've done all the work ahead of time, in peacetime, stay before God, stay ready, it might shake you for a little bit. But something should click in. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. It'll come back. I told this story before of me being in the Navy and can't swim. Now, the Navy is surrounded by water. I can't swim. All right. But for training, you had to at least float for 5 minutes. For me to get out of the 4th week of my boot camp, you had to float for 5 minutes. I was terrified of water. My cousin played around with us and when we was younger, and I nearly drowned. So I had a fear. When I say a gripping fear of water, that was part of my training on the 4th week of boot camp. Not only am I scared of water, I have a fear of heights. So they told me the bottom deck of the ship is at least 17 feet. So even if you came down to the bottom of the ship where you got to jump off, it's 17 feet from the water. So I'm not fighting just one thing. He said, open my eyes so I can see, right? They had me to go up on a diving board because the diving board represented the bottom deck of the ship of a ship. Now, y'all, those of you who don't have fear of anything, you might not understand how fear can grip you. But if you ever been fearful and it gripped you that you can't think, I mean, I'm talking about can't think. There was 2 instructors down in the water. Open her eyes so she can see there is someone down there. Even if I made a mistake, there was someone down there to cover me. The problem was I knew they was down there. How about that? It wasn't like it was like I didn't see it. I saw. They told me they was down there. Only thing I had to do, jump off the diving board and remember what I was taught. So they tell you how you go down, you hold your hands up, you'll come back to the top, you go on the ball, lay on your back, and you just float. You just float. And the only thing I had to do is for 5 minutes. That signified that if someone was coming to rescue us, you could stay afloat until the rescue come. It was practice in peacetime. I went every morning for 3 weeks. We already had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But for me to practice, because you can't go to the 5th week of your boot camp. Boot camp is 13 weeks. You can't go to week 5 until you float. If you don't float, you get set back to week 2. I was in Florida in July in that heat. And only thing I heard was if you don't pass, you're going back to week 2. What you gonna do? Open her eyes so she can see. Panic, fear, whatever that was gripping me at that moment. I knew I wasn't going back to week 2. I had already made up my mind about that. So it was something I had to do to get to week 5. So this last morning, the morning before the last morning, that second day, the instructors came to me. I was the only one left in the class that was going that morning, that was going in the morning to learn to do this. Everybody else done made up their mind and got over it. He said, Wright, they call you by your last name, Wright. You got to get up early and I got to get up extra early just to come for you. And I ain't mind it. I don't mind it. But let's make this our last day. Make up your mind. This is the last. Tomorrow is the last day. That's what he told me after that practice. It was me and him. There's more for you than against you. It was 2 of them down there in the water. I'm the only one up top. I had to battle fear and can't swim. I walked out if anybody been on a diving board, the diving board is flimsy, is shaking, is a lot of things. And I think some of it I imagined even more than it was doing, but it was bouncy, right? I got all the way out there. I started to go back. That's how fear was gripping me. And the instructor had a pole. He saw that I came that far. That was a step, because before I was just at the edge. After I got off this ladder, I wouldn't even go out there. But I came that far. He said, Right, you came this far. You're not going back. And he took the pole, because I had froze. Fear will grip you. I had made up in my mind, but that fear, and I'm talking about the fear that I can imagine what that young man saw when he saw all those horses and chariot, and we stand here with nothing. Sometimes you need encouragement. Sometimes you need that person to walk you through. Don't be ashamed of how you feel. Just don't stay there. Be willing. Surround yourself. He said, watch your company you keep. Whatever that is, surround yourself with people of like minds and strength. Iron sharpened iron. Okay? So he hit the bottom of the diving board, what made me come off. I came down in the water disoriented. But when I hit the bottom of that pool, I remembered everything that I was taught. I couldn't do it if I hadn't practiced. I remember he said, put your hands up. You're going to come to the top. Put your hands up. I put my hands up. I came up. And he said, go ahead, go on the ball. He talked me through it. And I went back and I started floating. And because I did that much, he said, go ahead, you passed. I don't even think I did 2 minutes. They told me you had to do 5. I did less than 5. It was 2 minutes or less. Because I went that far, you might not have to go all the way because God will take over or somebody. I'm just saying, the message was good, Dad. Open up our eyes that we may see that you're with us, that is more for you than against you. I know what the doctor report said. I know what's going on at your job. I know what's going on with your kids. I know what's going on in your home. I know you might not have enough where I'm going to get the next meal, whatever that is. I'm not telling you that it's easy. But their best strategy, that's what he said today, is no match for God. God monitors your life, is monitored by heaven, not by earth, he said. God got you. Stay in his will. Stay with God. Go with God. Just make sure in peacetime you're doing what you're supposed to do. Throw a fast in there once in a while. You know, I'm saying that because that's, they know Jackie like to eat. Soon as they say fast, I get a headache in the morning at 6 o'clock. When you don't say fast, I can go all day without eating. But as soon as somebody say fast, there it is. I'm just saying, that's how the enemy, he gets you in all these things. So we just got to be mindful of how he studies us. He knows where to get us. He knows he can get me through food. He knows he can get me through my family. He knows you. Sometimes all you got to do is say a bad word about your health and we fall apart. He knows. He ain't going to bother you with something that don't bother you. He going to get you right where it hurt, right? So he says some things are taught and some things are caught. If you're teachable, open your ears and hear what the Spirit's saying to us. Get out of our flesh. Get more into the Spirit. Ask God to relieve us of those things that's not like him and be more mindful of our intake. Read every day. Pray every day. Be intentional about it. It's a big world out here and the enemy is doing his job. It's principality, it's all those things you can't even see that's still going on in the earth realm, that the devil and Satan is doing his job. But we serve a bigger God. We serve a greater God. Don't let fear cause you to not open up your eyes. Ask God to open up your eyes, that you will see he's with us. He's for us. He's more than the whole world against us. It don't matter what's coming up against us. God is able, right? We know that. And sometimes he try to shake our very foundation of what we standing on. But don't forget, when I looked down in that pool, those 2 instructors was there. He's whenever you don't even think God is, he got you covered. Somebody walk up at the right time and just give you what you need. Somebody over here cover you what you need. You just about to walk in and about to be a robbery in the store, and God just calls you to go over there and pray. I mean, you hear stories all like this all the time. In the nick of time, he just had you go another way because something's getting ready to happen. That's the God we serve. Angels always around us. Trust him. Trust him. Open up our eyes, God, that we will see that you were for us and you're always with us. That's my Bible. That's my sermon today. That's what I got out of the sermon today. 2 Kings, 6th chapter. He read the 15th through the 17th verse. But I want you to read the whole chapter so you can get at least to the 23rd verse. So you can get the whole scenario of the story. And then let me end it with this. After your enemy or things happen to you, he was talking about forgiveness. Because those same enemy that had did this to them, they had to turn around and feed them and bless them. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. After somebody done did you wrong or did stuff to you, and God said, bless them that persecute you. Are you hearing me? After you got over the fear and got yourself together, then you got to forgive. Should we do something to them? Should we take care of our enemy? Can I take care of who just, what they did to me or what? No. God got it. God did it already. Bless him. That's the God we serve. It's like, it's opposite. It's opposite of what you think. Well, if you did me like this, I'm gonna get you back. No, that's what we probably would say. That's not what God said. He did the opposite. If they did something to you, pour more love on them. Man, you can't beat God. And you probably don't understand, Lord, why I got to do all of this? And they did. You see what they did to me, but He calls them to be blind. He calls them to be blind. They was after you, but He turned it back on them. He already paid them. You want to pay them too? You got to get your hands in there and get them back. God already took care. You all right? We okay? We good. Forgive. Here's some bread. Here's some money. Whatever you need. You need some help? Let me do. Keep it back on. God done it for us. He did the job. No holding nothing. No unforgiveness. And go on your merry way. Go on your way. For the next time, God do it for us again. You want to stay in good standing. We want to stay in good standing with God. Right? Trust that you got something out of how I got it today. Man, I felt that thing today. I felt it again, Dad. I felt it again. Because great is He. Great is He. If He's in you, greater is He. We can't do it of ourselves. That's why you need Him. That's why you got to make sure you're in Him. Because He's going to ask you to do some things that's probably, you're going to like, God, that's what you want me to do? That's how we rolling now? Yeah, that's how we rolling. Forgive them. That same person that just jacked you up and did all that stuff to you, forgive them. Yeah. Because I just took care. I just blessed you with another job. I just fed you. I did all that for you. I called somebody over here to bring you food, or somebody else say, "Come on down here, Jackie. I got an opening for you," and whatever it is. And then the doctor told you, your health is all right. You just take this 3 times a day and you be fine. And you still want to pay back the enemy, man? Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up, y'all. God is good. I love you. And until next week, ask God, open my eyes. Open your eyes that we can see that you're with us. All right? I love you. Peace.